last year adapting this into a screenplay format. And I actually left out this scene because it's kind of extraneous, so it doesn't really move the story along. But when I sent out the script to get notes back from everyone, everybody has different ideas, different perspectives, but everyone gave me the same note, which was you have to put that scene back in, not because it's good, but because it's kind of disgusting.
Ow!
The Three Glories, January 14th, 2009. By the time I was 16, I had already gone through 3 Glory Gilmores. She was 6 inches of garishly painted plastic with 31 points of articulation, the queen of my action figure kingdom. And yet, she kept getting lost. Original Glory was a victim of the neighbor's dog, her head gouged with teeth marks and drowned in slobber. I hated that fucking dog. Glory 2 was slaughtered during one of Melissa Perkins' infamous 4th grade recess rampages. Melissa, playground enforcer, and Laura Ashley Swathed Devil Spawn, spotted an opening when Glory fell out of my pocket during an extended run on the monkey bars. Her massive Mary Jane crushed those plastic limbs to smithereens. Glory the Third, this is a sad one, Andy Oppenheimer, who was second chair to my first chair clarinet, gave me Glory the Third for my 15th birthday after hearing about the untimely demises of Glories 1 and 2. We had a lot of time on our hands because the band director was always trying to get the trombone section in tune. Now that I look back on it, I think maybe he liked me a little bit. Unfortunately, I was going through a short-lived phase of maturity and donated my entire action figure collection to Goodwill. I only hope Glory the Third ended up in a good home. Of course, there was one final Glory, the last Glory. When I lost her, it was due to one thing and one thing only, my own excruciating stupidity. I only hope that someday she'll find it in her heart to come back to me. February 25th, 2002. Curtis is kind of a douchebag. I mean, we both like pad thai and scouring used bookstores for beat-up sci-fi paperbacks, and that one episode of Star Trek The Next Generation where Picard learns how to play the Mexican flute. But then he has to go and do all this douchebaggy shit, like telling anyone who will listen about his male feminism, or bragging that he can play 3 whole chords on the guitar when I know for a fucking fact he's only mastered 2. These are probably not the thoughts I should be thinking when Curtis is on top of me. I squint up at his mottled face, which is screwed into an expression of pure lust? No, more like concentration. Sweat beads his flesh brown, his thatch of dyed black hair fluffing up and down as he pumps away. Oh, goddess, he gasps. Pump. Do you see what I mean? Who does that? Who says, oh goddess, during sex? Well, okay, maybe people who worship actual goddesses as part of their religion, but Curtis doesn't identify as pagan, he's just a fucking poser. I arrange my expression into a similar concentration posing as less sort of shape and try to meet his eyes. Maybe that will help speed the process along. Pump. Or it will just make me feel like we're engaged in a really weird staring contest. I allow my gaze to drift to the left of Curtis' head, eyes scanning my hovelicious dorm room, CDs in their milk crate poems, Tetris into submission. Candy-colored iMac lazily repeating its generic screensaver, as if shooting off pixely fireworks is a big pain in its non-existent ass. Long shelf of action figures affixed precariously to the wall, Buffy Summers rubbing elbows with Dana Scully and Spock. All of them arranged in a way that makes perfect sense to me. All of them... Wait a second. I crane my neck, trying to see around Curtis' bobbing head. Unfortunately, he keeps bobbing into the spot I'm trying to focus on. Quick, look. Is that really... I can't see. Goddess, Curtis pants. And honestly, that is fucking it. Enough, I growl. I shove him off me, putting all my muscle into it. The fact that he maintains an emaciated indie rocker physique of roughly 95 pounds helps things along. What? Curtis attempts to clutch a corner of sheet, but he's a split second too late and goes tumbling off the edge of my narrow twin bed, landing on the ground with a solid thump. Ow! He yells, throwing me a look of injured contempt. Ignoring him, I pull the sheet around me like a makeshift toga and stride up to the toy shelf, eyes glued to the spot that has captured my attention. Why? I mutter almost to myself. Why is Tigra mixed in with the classic Avengers? I whirl around and frown at Curtis, eyes narrowing into tiny slits. He's making a big show of checking himself for broken bones. Whatever, the floor isn't that hard. He looks up at me and cocks his head to the side, dazed and naked. What? I flap my hand at the shelf. Tigra didn't join the Avengers till the 80s. She should be over here with She-Hulk and Captain Marvel. I gently slide Tigra's muscular orange form to the correct place. Then I train my patented Death Star on Curtis. You moved her. He spreads his hands out, palms up, beseeching. Babe, I still don't know what you're talking about. Ugh, I hate that nickname. He knows I hate that nickname. And nicknames of any kind, really. I cross the room in 2 steps and stand over him, glowering. You moved her. Curtis brushes his lank forelock out of his eyes, pursing his lips the tiniest bit. He contorts his spindly so white it's almost translucent form into a hip-jutting come-hither pose. Wow, he says, his voice husky. You're so hot when you're mad. Why don't we get back to, I told you not to touch my shit, I snap. He frowns, all traces of ill-conceived better mice dropping away. Fine, he says, I moved Lady Tiger, Tigra, whatever. He glares at me, the pieces of his usual cooler-than-thou armor snapping firmly into place. I wanted to see if he would notice. I tighten my grip on the cheap toga. Well, go you, I totally did, now what? He scrambles to his feet, clamping his hands on his bony hips. Now, he says, now I have confirmation of what a crazy bitch you are. You're moving my stuff around as some kind of bizarre psychology experiment, and I'm the crazy one? He takes a step, closing the space between us so that we're nose to nose. You, he says, jabbing the air with his spindly index finger, would rather obsess over Tiger Girl, Tigra, than fuck. I raise an eyebrow. I would rather obsess over a lot of things than fuck you. Our faces lock, and we face off for a few weighted moments, breath coming and going in furious gasps, red-hot fury barely contained. If this were a shitty romantic comedy, you know, one of the ones where the woman learns an important lesson about not being uptight, this would be the part where we start making out like crazy, our mutual hatred and masked for the passion lurking underneath. Instead, Curtis lunges forward, shoves me out of the way, and snatches a 6-inch piece of plastic off the toy shelf. What? Curtis! I yelp, but it's too late. He's out the door, running like hell, dick flapping frantically back and forth like a lily white flag of surrender. Fuck! Gathering my sheet around me, I bolt after him, chasing his naked form down the too-long dorm hall. He holds his stolen prize aloft, and I can see that she's black and red and garish as I'll get out, and oh my god, he didn't. Not her. God damn it, I mutter, that's my 4th one. Fuck you, Julie, he screams. Comic books are a tool of the patriarchy. I increase my speed, bare feet slapping against the threadbare institutional carpet, worn down to almost nothing after being tread on by decades of graceless college students. Curtis reaches the end of the hall and throws open the double doors, sunlight illuminating his scrawny body. He wouldn't, we say. He does. Curtis bursts through the door and into the outside world. I follow, but my moment's hesitation costs me. As I stumble down the rough concrete steps, I can see him streaking into the distance, a tiny white dot blipping across campus like a beacon on a radar screen. A beacon representing douchebag boyfriends. Well, douchebag ex-boyfriends, because we are so broken up now. Everywhere. Puffing and puffing, I fall to my knees, dew-drenched grass soaking the sheet that is still, improbably, wrapped around me. Asshole, I mutter into the empty air.